Hey, peace and blessings, family. Nero here. And in this video, I just want to give you guys, there's going to be two videos like this. I just want to give you guys, I want to talk with you guys today about the elements in astrology. And we know there's four elements in astrology: earth, water, fire, and air. And in this one, I want to talk with you guys about the fire, the fire and air elements, fire and air polarity, the fire and air duo, the duo that deals with, self-expression, and one deals with it. Y'all already know all that, so I'm not going to get into that. But yeah, let's talk about these two elements and how they balance each other out, and actually support and are there for one another, things like that, and how they make a very nasty tag team. So yeah, with that being said, let's get right into it. So for the most part, we know fire deals with what, creativity, and imagination. What else is there? You know, um, Spontaneity, independence, things like that. And there's a lot of things that you talk about with fire, but ultimately we know when we're talking about fire, it's talking about creative expression, expressing one's creativity as an individual, things like that. And then with air, we know that air is more like the selfless. So that's another thing too. I like to call it fire and air polarity, the self and the selfless. And I'll get to that when I get deeper into the video. So yeah, we know with air, what does air deal with? It deals with communication, rationality, compromise, ideas, being idealistic, relatable, and yeah. And there's also, did I say communication, socializing, intelligence? Yeah, if not, there's that too. And then the rationality part is really important because whereas fire is the more irrational expression, irrational form of self-expression, air is the more formal version of self-expression, and that's key in this too. So, yeah, how I'm gonna break this down, I'm actually gonna talk about all the fire and the air signs, and that'll really, explain it. So yeah, now when we talk about the fire and air signs, let's start off with Aries and Libra. What's Aries? Aries is a cardinal fire sign. Libra is a cardinal air. So Aries likes to be the leader when it comes to things dealing with creativity, imagination, self-expression, etc. And then Libra likes to be the leader when it comes to things dealing with communication, and ideas, and the intelligence, or rationality and compromise, things like that. And this is, that's why Libra is known as the sign, the sign of justice, the sign, the sign of the mediator, things like that. But that's I talk about that in like my Libra videos and one of my other videos called Balance. But yeah, let's talk about the planets that are actually, let's talk about the planets more so that are associated with these signs. So what is this? What planet is Mars? I mean, what planet is Aries ruled by? Mars. What's Mars? Mars is a planet that deals with self. It's one of the planets that deals with your personal power. Your willpower. Your motivation. Your passion, and your masculine. As we say, your masculine energy, etc. Things like that, and a sex drive too. And that's more so Scorpio. But anyway, it can be Aries too. But when we talk about sex, sex is more the Scorpio. Well, anyway, let's not go there. But now, with Libra already being the polar opposite, and then the planet that's like it's like and then Mars is like the male, or like represents. Some say, I'm not gonna do that either. I was gonna say Mars represents the boys and shit like that, but everybody's got their own thing. But yeah, so Mars represents the male and the masculine energy and all that, and then you got Libra, which is ruled by Venus. And Venus is one of the feminine planets. It's a planet that deals with love, and we know love is nurturing, but Libra does it through communication, being rational, and justifying things, being the mediator, things like that. But let's talk about Mars and Venus. The planet of masculinity. And one's drive, motivation. Personal power, willpower, things like that. And then you put it along with Libra. What would this mean for the planet that deals with love and being nurturing and being caring, and, giving that love out. Well, basically with this one, Aries and Libra, I talk about this in my zodiac sign Aries, zodiac sign Libra video, and basically with this one is like, whereas Aries is more worried about establishing the self and implementing, one's own self-expression, and Libra. Did I said Aries right? I hope so. And then Libra is more so worried about other people's um worried about how how other people like to express things like that because they're the mediator. Um, they naturally are they help each other out in the way of Aries telling Libra to have Aries can help a Libra have more you know knowledge of self and just be more passionate as an individual rather than be someone who just is always sacrificing himself for others and not really having none of their own none of their own personal power, no security within themselves, no backbone, things like that. And then what Libra does for Aries is that Libra show Aries how to become more um, Libra can give the advice to the Aries of how to become more rational when it comes to their expression, how it, and be more concerned with how how their expression, their creativity and how they and how they display their independence is coming across to others. That makes sense to y'all? I hope so. And like I always say, if it seemed a little bit confusing, because I know it can be like that sometimes, feel free to leave that down in the comments. But yeah, that's Aries and Libra for the most part. Now let's talk about the next one's Leo and Aquarius. So yeah, with this one, Leo, what's Leo ruled by? Already at Leo's a fixed fire sign, so it's fixated on, it's fixated on, things dealing with creativity, and expressing oneself, or better yet, they are. And then what's Aquarius fixated on? Aquarius is fixated on self-sacrifice, being relatable to others, things dealing with mediation and communication and rationality, socializing, organization, and all that. And then and then knowing this, since Leo, this is why Aquarius is known as a humanitarian. But when we talk about Leo and Aquarius, and this is, Leo and Aquarius, out of all the fire and air signs, they are, Leo and Aquarius truly are the self and the selfless. And so this one is really easy. The other one being ruled by the sun, Leo being ruled by the sun, and then Aquarius being ruled by Saturn traditionally. So what's the sun deal with? The sun deals with our creativity, our self-expression, our actions, our wants, our own desires as as an individual, our consciousness, what we're consciously aware of, and all that. And then Aquarius, what is Aquarius is Saturn. What does Saturn deal with? Those restrictions, limitations, and all that, and boundaries. But ultimately, it deals with that in the sense of it's trying to bring structure and organization to one's life, so that they can become more, responsible, committed, and self-focused and disciplined and all that. So there's a lot of ways that Aries, I mean not Aries, but it can work with Aries and Libra too, but Leo and Aquarius balance each other out. So we already know that fire is irrational and more, deals more with the, feelings and emotions, but expressing them. And we already explained, how air is, so we're not going to go down that again. For the most part, in the case of Leo and Aquarius, I'm not really going to use the planets too much in this one, but with Leo and Aquarius, how I like to look at this one, since Aquarius is already geared towards, being a service to the collective, and, they're more geared towards, doing those things, and then Leo's more geared towards service of the self. They balance each other out by, Aquarius, theoretically speaking, and it's probably, some people probably do this, in their experience, but yeah, Aquarius can come to the Leo and be like, hey, you have this knowledge of self, why not, share this knowledge of self and this personal power that you have, or better yet, show it to others so that they can, understand and become, empowered and, get on their path and be able to love themselves like, you do yourself. And then that brings us all one step closer to being that change, that we wish to see in the world. And then much like, Aries and Libra, how Leo can tell the Aquarius how to become more self-focused, more oriented, more self-loving, not in the sense of not caring about the collective, but just just like Aries and Libra, to have, more of that backbone, more of that foundation, more of that personal power, things like that. And yeah, but y'all get it. But when we do talk about the planets for Leo and Aquarius, and then and then like Aries and Libra, when we talk about Leo and Aquarius, when Leo tells the Aquarius to become more personally empowered, that can help with when they come to being a service to the to the collective, they won't be as gullible or what's the other one I'm looking for? They won't be as gullible or as as much of a martyr. I hope I'm using the word martyr right when it comes to dealing with the. I don't think that's the right way to use martyr, but anyway, um, they won't be basically they won't be as gullible when it comes to dealing with the collective, being a source of the collective. Y'all know what I mean about that. But we talk about the planets, the Sun and Saturn. You put when we say the relationship between Sun and Saturn can teach the Sun to become more refined and more disciplined with their self-expression, and then Sun can tell Saturn to be more open, more expressive, and open up things like that, and just shine the light more. And that gets more in talking about like irrationality and irrationality in general, going outside of the elements. But yeah, we're not going to do that. Now, the last but not least, Gemini and Sagittarius. So Gemini, for the most part, is mutable air. Sagittarius, mutable fire. Gemini, different, is able to be changeable and adaptable when it comes to things dealing with intelligence, communicating, socializing. Sagittarius, able to be adaptable and changeable when it comes to things dealing with creativity and imagination and self-expression. And with Gemini and Sagittarius, ruled by Jupiter and Mercury. Mercury likes to get the details, likes to know what it's getting into before it does it. And Sagittarius is Jupiter, likes to expand on things and, experience them and then extract the knowledge and wisdom from it, kind of like Mercury. And the best way I like to explain Mercury and Jupiter is like Jupiter, to Sagittarius is like, I'm not waiting on that. I'm getting into it now because if I wait any longer, try to wait on something, it's going to pass up. And then Mercury is like, I got to make sure I know what I'm getting into before I get into it. And so for the most part with this one, Gemini can teach Sagittarius how to become more detailed and more organized where they, expand on things and experience things. And then and then Sagittarius can tell Gemini, be like, sometimes you may overthink things and you just need to act on your hunches and just expand and experience. So yeah. And I hope all this made sense. And then just look at Jupiter and Mercury in that same way. You got to learn to become more, kind of like Aquarius, Leo, and kind of like Aquarius, Leo, Libra, Aries. Got to become more, like compromising and more rational with your expression and all that, and how you do things. But it's ultimately going to be like more refined and more balanced and organized, things like that. Yeah, I'll get it. But yeah, this is just this is my take on the fire and air element, fire and air polarity for the most part, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. And I'll talk to you guys. And next one, we'll talk about water and earth. And don't worry, I still plan on doing the moon and the signs and all that, and the rising signs too. So yeah, I don't gotta worry about that. I just gotta find some time to get around to doing it. But it's gonna get done, believe that. But yeah, I'll talk to you guys later. And I love y'all. Y'all have a good evening. Namaste. Peace and blessings.